So I hear, and I'm sure that you hear all the time, folks say that they wish that they work for themselves or that they want to go and work for themselves. And I think that what they're really attracted to is the idea of being their own boss. But what a lot of people don't take into consideration is that when you work for yourself, you are your own boss. You're also your own employee. And I think the biggest mistake that a lot of small business owners made when they get into a business that doesn't end up working out is they failed to understand their own shortcomings as an employee when they worked for other people. Years ago, I had an employee who, we were a new business, so the honest truth is this employee made more money than I did. I was making negative income and this employee was being paid. Well, this employee was an assistant manager level employee, and they were sort of doing something that was kind of failing me. And I addressed it. And they looked at me and they said, if I made as much money as you do, I would try harder. Now, to me, that's such a backwards thought, because the idea is everyone thinks, well, I would work harder if it was for myself. Listen, if you are an employee that works really, really, really hard and picks up information really well and learns quickly and is great with customers and makes a great product, then chances are you would do a really nice job working for yourself because you're an asset. And at the end of the day, if you're an asset, I do think you should want to earn the potential of the asset. You're opening up with a great employee from day one. But if you're the kind of employee that's late often, that's not really on top of things, that doesn't pick up information really quickly, and you're not self-critical enough to realize that, then when you go into business for yourself, you're starting hiring an employee that's not really a great employee. And then now you're building a business where the only employee that you can 100% count on is not a great employee. The fact that they happen to be you isn't really a win for you. If anything, it's not. It's a loss for you, because now you're gonna actually start to hire employees, and you think that the employees that you hire are gonna work for you and they're gonna make up for your shortcomings. Well, at the end of the day, you're the leader. So they're gonna turn to you and expect you to be somebody who's going to go really hard for them. The best bosses that I ever had were people who worked really hard, cared, and ultimately would go further than they expected me to go. And I think that the biggest mistake I see some small business owners make, and I see it very often, is they go into business for themselves when they were not a good employee. In fact, what drove them into going to business for themselves was that they were tired of the criticism that they received from repeated employers. Listen, if multiple employers tell you the same thing, chances are they're being honest with you. You've heard the phrase, consider the source. Employers don't wake up every day being like, you know what I want to do today? I want to beat up my employees. The reality is most employers go to work every day hoping to not have to give very much criticism to their employees, because A, it makes their life harder, and B, it hurts morale. Employees love to be told they're great. I love great employees. They make the whole energy better. They feel good about themselves. I get to heap praise on them, and I feel good about my team. When employees are difficult, or they're not learning things, or they're not putting in the effort, and you're trying to plead with them, you start to get the sense sometimes that they do think that they should be sitting in your seat. And the thing that I'm always found thinking is, if we traded seats, I'd have an easier job and I'd kill it for you. But the problem is that we would fail under your leadership. So when those kinds of folks decide to go into business for themselves, across every industry, a lot of times those are the businesses that are failing. So again, remember, being your own boss, yeah, it sounds great, but you're gonna be your own employee too. And unless you're a great employee, you don't wanna have that person working for you.